How's it going? Stevie here from Zero Doubt Fitness. I'm doing a video series on different topics in fitness, whether it be nutrition, different exercises, fad dieting, you name it. If you ever have any questions and you want any specific topic discussed, just feel free to message me, comment below. I'll do the research and put the nutrition or put the topic out there. A little bit about me: I'm an Action Certified Personal Trainer. I also have triple AI, and then I think my very first was expert rating, just to get a little bit of knowledge out there. I am a pro MMA fighter. I'm trying to go back into kickboxing. I started my fight career as an amateur kickboxer, an amateur Muay Thai champion, also an amateur MMA champion, and that's about it for me. Pretty sure I've left a lot of stuff out. But today's topic is going to be about water, about hydration more specifically. And, hydration is something really big. And I picked this topic because I've actually suffered from dehydration on multiple accounts, whether my very first time was actually when I was in basic training in the Army. I got dehydrated while we were on our 7-day FTS. And it's easier to become more dehydrated. You're more likely to become dehydrated after you've been dehydrated once. And then after that, I've been dehydrated on multiple occasions just because of the training and trying to cut weight and training in intense heat and not rehydrating properly. And so I guess just to start off, what are some of the effects of dehydration if you ever felt them? Those effects can be increased heart rate. Your heart's going to be pumping faster. Another effect is going to be your workouts are going to seem harder. It's going to be harder, and you're just going to feel like you're doing everything. It's going to feel like you're doing harder. You're not going to be able to do what you normally are, and it's going to seem like it's going to be harder just to do something that's simple exercise. That's because you have water is part of the blood and everything like that. So decrease in that, and your body temperature is rising. So that way your heart is pumping harder to try and get you to get blood to the rest of the body, and it's just not going to be working because it's not there. And then part of that also is when you get dehydrated, you're also going to feel muscle cramps sometimes, headaches, because you're losing electrolytes. And some of the most common electrolytes are sodium chloride, which is table salt, potassium, which you can get from just about most fruits and vegetables, calcium, magnesium, phosphate, and sulfate. There are other electrolytes, is just the most common, and the ones that some of the ones you lose in sweat. From there, I would recommend, if you're going to work out, whenever you're going to work out, you should have at least 14 to 22 ounces of water before 2 hours before working out, with about 6 to 12 ounces in the last 15 to 20 minutes before working out. Then when you're working out, I suggest taking about, I'd say, at least a 16-ounce bottle of water with you, and you want to get a couple sips of that every 5 to 10 minutes while you're working out. And then when you start working out after an hour plus with high intensity, that's when you're going to need a sports drink, because you're going to need to replace carbohydrates that you're losing. You're going to need to replace those electrolytes we were talking about, especially if you start to feel muscle cramps coming on, headaches, dizziness. Those are all signs of dehydration. And if you start feeling like it's exercises that are normally simple to you become harder, part of that's going to be you're tired. But when it starts to feel too hard, that's because you're starting to get dehydrated. So you want to make sure you hydrate appropriately, get the right amount of water, and that's about it. I can think of. So going forward, so I always do the research, whether I know the topic well or not. It could be something as simple as how to throw a jab. I know how to throw a jab. I've It's my favorite punch. It's the punch I rely on the most, but I'll still always do more research. There's always ever-changing information, especially in health, fitness, and just in different techniques with martial arts and everything. So I always do more research because I could always find something else that I didn't know about it, or just change my technique up and whatnot. So once again, I'm Stevie from Zero Doubt Fitness. Yeah, have a good one. Okay, yeah, quick edit. That's why the beard suddenly disappeared. Forgot to talk about the ways you become dehydrated. Becoming dehydrated is more than just sweating and losing water. That's definitely one way, but you also, whenever you're breathing, when you exhale, you're losing water that way. So even in the winter, you may not feel like it, but you're always losing water. So that's definitely one way. Exercise, sweating, breathing, it's constantly just coming out of your skin. So that's why it's really important to always stay hydrated. It's about all I can think of that I want to say on this video at this time. Other than that, stay tuned for more.